Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 25 of Backspace Nomads. My name's Brian, and of course, my co-host, Monica. How are you, Monica?
Your lovely co-host, Monica. And I'm doing great, Brian. How are you doing, my lovely co-host, Brian?
I am sorry I didn't preface it with lovely. I'll work on my adjectives. Is that what the...
I'm a delight.
You are a delight to be around. The delightfulest podcast co-host I've ever...
Thanks, man.
Been delighted to be around.
Oh, my God. Oh, thanks, man.
So let me tell you guys what we're doing in the pod tonight. The first thing we're going to be reviewing the game called End is Nigh. After that, our guest is IAmThyDecoy from Twitch. She's going to come on and partake in a gaming apocalypse team choice. And then after that, she's going to share her time of game with us.
I think we should call it Put Me In, Coach.
The game apocalypse, put me in, coach. All right, so before we get into that, let's jump in to The End is Nigh. The End is Nigh was developed and published by Edmund McMillan and Tyler Glale. I'm sorry if I messed your name up, Tyler. Released July 12th, 2017. Priced at $15.99. The End of Nigh is a sprawling adventure platformer where the player takes control over Ash, one of a few things that have survived to the end of the world. Follow Ash as he flops his way through the future, a future of pain and suffering. Feel his stress levels rise as you throw him into an endless swarm of decaying mutant animal-like creatures, and help aid his final epic quest to simply make a friend. Monica, what are your expectations going into The End is Nigh?
So my expectations were that anytime a game tells me that I'm going to die a lot, I start dying on the inside immediately because my hand-eye coordination is awful to the point where when people even are gonna toss me keys, I just duck and cover because I've been hit in the face so many times by just a gentle toss. So when I hear you're gonna die, I get nervous, and so my expectations were that I was gonna have a hard fucking time. Those are my expectations. What about yours?
I'd never really played Super Meat Boy, and I know this is kind of, people have been telling me it's the spiritual successor to that.
Meat Boy.
Did you?
Yeah.
So I was kind of excited. Super Meat Boy is kind of a game that I always looked at I think I'd have fun playing that, and I just never did for whatever reason. So I was pretty excited to get into this one. Unlike you, I can usually catch keys that are thrown at me, so I wasn't completely scared to go into this one. More just ready to do it. I'm excited about punishing games. I'm all there. I'm like a Dark Souls. Love that type of gameplay, and just feel bad about yourself the entire time. It's a good feeling for me.
Yeah, and from playing Super Meat Boy 2, and granted, I want to say that this isn't the same game, but I feel like if you ever bought for the first couple of years with Humble, well, not the first couple of years with Humble Bundle, but for a couple of years with Humble Bundle, any bundle you got had Super Meat Boy in it. So it was it's kind of hard to avoid. And I did play it, and it kicked my ass, and it made me feel like shit about myself. So I was just like, oh man, here we go. It's going
Once
back.
Again,
yep, here we go.
Here comes the keys.
Yep.
All right, so what's something you liked about this game?
Okay, so I'm just going to bring, I guess, the heaviest hitting thing first, and that is the music. The music in this game, and I have to say, one of the things I didn't necessarily like was the lack of color. I know we're in post-apocalyptic, but there is very little color in this game. But what's weird and what saves the palette for me is the music, because it's just this joyous, kind of, it's still a little dark, but for the most part, it's this joyous soundtrack, and it matches so well with the palette in an awkward, quirky, fun way. So the palette by itself, I wouldn't have really loved. But with the music, I feel like it saved it. I feel like it saved a lot of things, including my sanity, because I was at least enjoying that. What about you?
Just to talk about the sound real quick, like fantastic design on it. It took a game that like could feel really monotonous, how many times you gotta redo levels, and it just made you kind of forget about that, and it kept pushing you forward. So the sound design was fantastic. I'm gonna go in and say one of the things I liked the most was the art, and I think it's because you just got your soul crushed by this game. The further you go into it, there are a little like more colors introduced to it. You go to like hell-like levels. Where there's like, you know, big, bold color, like still like a simple palette, but like bolder colors hitting you.
Yeah.
Something about this design, it's very reminiscent of Binding of Isaac. I think one of the developers was a co-developer on Binding of Isaac. There is something they do where the art is so like disgustingly charming. I don't know how they pull it off between these games. This game, like, you're dealing with like tumors and the end of the world and creatures and just death, and everything is so adorable. I don't know how they do it. Even down to the writing,
really
you're like, all right.
You really sold the adorable nature.
Yeah, it's just the end of the world's going to be adorable. It's not as bad as we think it is. So art, definitely a big heavy hitter for me on that. What's something else for you?
I really liked the story or the plot, I guess. And you started hitting on that. You are playing this character that he's like a thing that has survived. He's a thing. He's a little blob that has survived the end of the world. And his favorite gaming console breaks in the beginning of the story. And he decides that the only way he can deal with this loss is by making a friend. And so therefore he starts going on a search for a friend, and the end result is that you pick up tumors from tumors and body parts from other people that have died, and you end up meshing them together to make a friend. I'm going to be quite honest right now. I don't think that there's any way in a bajillion years that I would be able to finish this game by myself. So I played for quite a few hours, and then I just decided, like, okay, I am going to have to like see what some of the end results could be.
Sure.
Because I want to enjoy life, and because
you can only hate yourself so much.
But like the plot is really great, and like I'm not going to give any spoilers away on like the ending and everything. But if you are, if you're a great gamer for very hard, challenging platformers, you're going to enjoy the end result, I think.
Sure. How I got to like, I think it said 28% completion, like collecting tumors and stuff. And I had over 1,000 deaths already. Like,
yeah, it is
it's punishing, dude.
Painful.
Yeah.
I'm going to start raging right now. Like,
something else I really loved about this game, very kind of innovative in a way for the genre, is the way that all the levels connected together. Basically, when you go from one level to the next, those levels are connected. So if you jump up to the top of the screen, there's a chance that you go to another like platformer level that's above that. And so you use that mechanic to go back and forth between the different puzzles on each level to kind of see them and do them in a different way. And that is like really kind of elevating the Super Meat Boy like Twitch platforming jumping mindset. There was definitely a lot of hidden things on these levels that were fantastic. I think they said they had over 600 levels, and each level design was just very well done, very well thought out. So just the level design is probably the second thing that I really was loving about this game. What's anything else you liked from it?
I think I'm gonna cut it there. I think we'll cut it there.
Okay.
I have plenty to say next.
Okay. So let's start with the things that you disliked.
Too fucking difficult. I want to be clear here. This is okay. Here's this genre of game is called a resume builder, okay? This is a resume builder game. And what I mean by that is that, like, when you fucking complete this game, you put it on your gamer resume, you might even want to just put it on your regular resume, because, like, if someone asks, like, what is this? What is this? You completed this achievement of this game. And you're like, it's the fucking most difficult game. You have no idea. I had to put 2,000 hours into it. Like I had to overcome my fear of keys being thrown at my face.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there was a lot of work for me to get to this end result, but I consider this a resume builder game.
So
it's not necessarily a con for everyone. Like for the people that want that are building that fucking resume, that are gonna like be the CEO of difficult games, like this is great for you.
Climbing that
fucking
ladder.
Climb that ladder, you know? Exactly. But for the person that just, you know, wants to like maybe relax, you're gonna have a hard fucking time. And so I don't want to say it's a bad thing, because it's entertaining, but like, you know, it's also stressful.
mm-hmm.
It was stressful. I can't tell you how many times I was just in here, exactly where I'm sitting right now, and there's just silence. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Like every 5 minutes or less, you know?
There's definitely times where I like, there was like 2 or 3 times, I think, where like I just put the game away. I was like, I'm done for right now. Like, fuck this.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm walking away. I'll come back to it. Maybe I can see it differently. But it was just like done. And I came back. I was like, no, you got to muscle through. This is for the podcast.
Right.
And that's really what kept me going. Definitely the things that I stressed about and hated the most, the water levels. I don't know what it is about platforming people where they are obsessed with putting water levels in their games.
I like water levels.
You like them?
I like them.
You are a like sadistic person. Nobody besides Monica likes water levels. They're awful. They're miserable. The entire time I'm playing them, I am waiting for them to end. That is like the achievement. Like, oh, thank God this is done. I don't care that I just beat a level. I beat the water level, and hopefully I'm never coming back.
I'm gonna buy you Echo the Dolphin for Christmas.
You're just a miserable person, and I don't know why we do a podcast together. Echo was a horrific game, and anyone that says otherwise are just trying to be like too cool for school because they're nostalgic about the wrong things. This game, this water mechanic where they had acid water, way too precise, way too punishing. Every time I stepped away from this game, it was during a water level, and like I was just over it. I don't know who decided to put these in, but you almost ruined your game. You almost did it.
One of the things that, and this is kind of a small issue, but I'm getting a little bit tired of like the squishy protagonists. I don't know what's up with it. They're squishy protagonists. Like here we've got like little tumor boy, and he's just this squishy little thing that's flying around. We just played Slug Cat. Like, what's up with all these like squishy wobbly protagonists everywhere? Is this a theme? I swear to God, it's a theme. I've been seeing more and more like just these like really adorable little like creatures, but they're all squishy.
Yeah.
And like
you got a point. I can see that.
I feel like it's a theme, and it doesn't feel that creative to me anymore. Like you throw like an adorable little quirky face on it, you make it look a little dark and evil but cute still, and you think you've got something, you know, organically creative, but in reality you just got another squishy protagonist.
Sure. How many iterations do you think they went through designing like the different lumps on this guy? Like, no, those lumps are perfect.
I don't know.
Those are the lumps.
I don't know. I just want a rock solid protagonist.
Is this why you liked Warcube so much? It was just just a solid square protagonist. Yeah. I think the last thing for me that I really kind of disliked about this game, it felt like more like a bug or something. I don't know. The ledge mechanic just oftentimes felt like it didn't work, and was extremely frustrating because a lot of these levels are so precise and are really about like hitting the ledge the right way at the right time, that the ledge mechanic not being crisp made me die, I don't know, probably 300 times out of the 1,000 plus times I died. So I don't know what they can do to fix that. I'm not a game developer, but hopefully you guys do something about that, my dudes. Tyler, help.
I felt like the controls on this were actually like super spot on. And I am angry. The last thing I'm frustrated with is because they were so good that I blame myself for every death. I'm like you, Brian, who wants to just put the blame on the developers.
Yeah, no, I am
Those
not to blame.
1,000 deaths were your owed.
Did you use a keyboard or a controller?
I was using keyboard.
Okay, I was on a controller, so maybe that's where our discrepancy is.
Maybe.
Or maybe I just do deflect everything and I don't want to take responsibility. I don't know. I don't know how this, how dare you?
I know.
All right. Anything else? Or are we gonna wrap it up here?
I think that my final thoughts on this are it's a resume builder. Like I am not gonna lie, I wanted to start seeing what other people's responses were, because mine was truly, I was sitting in a room by myself and I very rarely when I'm playing a game talk to myself through it.
Sure.
So like the fact that I was yelling damn it like every minute or so was just like kind of funny. I would catch myself doing it. I had no control. So I decided I wanted to see like, what are these other hopeful resume builders out there doing? And I went and checked out a few streams. And I got some quotes from those people as they were playing, and I wasn't even going to like the top people that like perform. These were people just like sitting quietly and not saying anything. And the only thing you hear were like, was their exclamations. And there, I was sitting watching one guy, he's going for quite a while. And like about 5 minutes in, you just hear, what the heck am I even doing anymore? and then he literally turned his stream off. Another guy just kept saying, I hate myself as he was playing it. And then there was one, and I think that this out of the ones, and I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't really watching the speedrunners, and there are already speedrunners for this game. And God, it's so amazing that they can, how great they are at it. But the one person that I saw that wasn't a speedrunner was just trying to like play the game as a normal human, and trying to build that resume. He was a little bit more hopeful, and he kept saying, please let me get this. Please let me get this. And it made every death so much harder to watch. But I'm a thumbs up. Overall, I'm a thumbs up on this game. As a resume builder, it's not something that I'm going to actively pursue, but the game itself is fun. And challenging. And if that's the type of game you want to play, I mean, this is one you're going to enjoy.
Sure. I'm going to jump in there with you. I'm going to say thumbs up also. This game is reminiscent of Super Meat Boy, but I think it like sets itself apart enough where it's not as fast paced. It's more about puzzle solving and really figuring out the levels. This game has so much content in it. Like, I don't know how people are beating this in speedruns already. Like the 600 levels, all the hidden stuff, all the mini games. This is well worth your $15 you're going to pay for this game. You're going to hate yourself for a long, long time when you pick this game up. So 2 thumbs up from Backspace Nomads for The End is Nigh. Released July 12th, 2017. Pick it up for $14.99 on Steam. I think it's also on the Switch. By Edmund McMillan and Tyler Galeo. We're going to go to intermission, everybody, and when we come back, IAmThyDecoy is going to be joining the podcast. And we're going to go into the gaming apocalypse. Put me in, coach. We'll be right back, everybody. Thank you for sitting through that intermission, everybody. On the podcast today, our guest is IAmThyDecoy. You can find her on Twitter at IAmThyDecoy and on Twitch, twitch.tv/IAmThyDecoy. She is a affiliate streamer, does a GTA role-playing and baking streams. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi.
So what have you been up to recently, Decoy?
Not a whole lot. Just, I guess, parenting.
That's important.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the hardest game. That actually might even be harder than The End is Nigh, the game that we reviewed. Like, it might be harder, or at least more important. at the very least.
After watching you guys play it or do your review, I want to give it a try, and I can let you know, like, side by side.
Okay. You're like, oh my gosh, that would be a ridiculous way to review games. Like, which is harder? This or parenting?
Yes. There you
That's
go.
your measure. That's your measure.
Yeah, just take that and run with it, because we can't do that. That's not our content. We can't achieve that.
I could probably find some kids somewhere.
What, are you going to steal them?
You know, no joke. No, but I was asking to borrow children for the podcast at one point because I was like, it might be fun to have kids. And people were really willing to just give me their children.
Oh.
It was interesting. I don't
Sure.
know.
Decoy, how'd you get into like Twitch and all this?
That's a good question. I started on Twitch. I had 2 people ask me in 1 week if I was on Twitch, and I had absolutely no idea what it was. I was playing Battlefield 4, and I had 2 people ask if I was on it, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I had nothing going on, so I was like, okay, fuck it, I'll give it a try. So
Nice.
I set up an account, and I did a couple streams from my Xbox One, and I was hooked.
Yeah.
Sure.
So.
How did you decide to do baking? Because I feel like you were actually one of the pioneers for baking streams. I feel like a lot of people do baking and cooking now. Just not even like focused on it necessarily, but they participate in it. But you, from my history, like watching creative and stuff, you were one of the first people out there doing that regularly.
The first person that I ever saw doing a cooking stream was Domestic Dan.
Okay.
And when I saw him doing cooking, my jaw dropped. I was like, we can do cooking on Twitch? What the fuck? Yes. I started on my Xbox. I didn't have like a decent enough PC to stream from my kitchen. And Twitch Creative wasn't even a thing when I first started.
Right.
I think it was maybe 3 or 4 months after that's when I saw Domestic Dan. So I was like, okay, I need to figure my shit out. I need to get a computer for my gaming so that way I can rework my little shitty laptop to go into the kitchen with me. And then I've been doing the baking since. So next month will be 2 years of baking on Twitch.
That's awesome.
Ooh, very nice.
And for the listeners, just a heads up, actually, maybe I shouldn't even mention this, but like, she brings cookies to conventions. And it is so nice. It's so awesome to get them because they're really good. But now I probably shouldn't have mentioned that because everyone's going to be like, do I get a cookie?
Yeah. Now no one's getting them. You ruined it for everyone.
I know. Oh, well, whatever. I'm good at that.
I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
Every convention. I mean, from I met you at South 2 years ago. After that, I was like, okay, every convention I need to have some sort of cookie, some sort of treat. And TwitchCon this year, I'm going to have kitchens where I can actually like bake and produce pies and little treats that I can hand out fresh. Like,
That's so
hey,
awesome.
this was made 12 hours ago. Put it in your mouth.
Yeah. That's so awesome, though.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's like cookie business cards.
That'd take way too much time, dude. Let's go ahead and jump into our first segment that we're going to do with you. The gaming apocalypse. Put me in, coach, as we're calling it. There has been apocalypse in the gaming world, I guess, and all of the main heroes have been killed, and all we have left are side characters from gaming. I gave Monica and Decoy both a list earlier in the day of the 10 kind of characters that are left that they can choose from. We're going to go round by round. They're each going to try and snag who they can first for their team. At the conclusion of this, I'll see who has the best gaming apocalypse team, to where I will try and ride out the apocalypse with, is I think the best way to describe what we're doing. So let me give you guys the list real quick of the characters we're going to be using for this. First up, we're going to have Toad from Super Mario. Next, Navi from Zelda. Then the dog from Duck Hunt. Cortana from Halo. Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog. Yoshi. Puppy Hair, the do the barrel roll from Star
So
Fox.
stupid.
Elizabeth from Bioshock Infinite. Companion Cube from Portal. And Kazooie from Banjo and Kazooie. Decoy had a great idea earlier that we're going to do rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first in the gaming apocalypse, as every apocalypse should be.
Okay.
So on the count of 3, we're going to throw rock, paper, scissors. You ready?
Wait. I got
Okay.
So it's 1, 2, and then on 3 we go ahead and throw whatever, or is it 1, 2, 3, and then we shoot?
1, 2, 3, then shoot. This is lethal weapon rules, all right?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay. Ready? This is very important. This is who lives or dies in the apocalypse. 3, 2, 1, shoot. Oh, Monica threw paper. Decoy threw scissors. You get the first choice in the gaming apocalypse. Who is the first person on the Decoy team?
First person on the Decoy team is gonna have to be Elizabeth from Bioshock.
Oh, all right.
I fell in love with her when I played the game. She was always super helpful, and I imagine that she's going to continue being helpful in the apocalypse. And who knows, she might be able to manipulate one of her tears and, I don't know, get us out of there.
Fair enough.
Fuck.
Monica, you have 9 choices. Who's the first
I
person on
don't
your
want
team?
any of them. Okay.
Elizabeth was the MVP.
Okay, so if you're going Elizabeth, this is a weird one. I'm kind of torn between 2 here, but I'm actually gonna go Kazooie. Okay. For one, Kazooie can fly, so I'm hoping I can get some fucking help getting out of some spaces there, and also Kazooie can shoot eggs out of her butt at things. So there's a lot of skill sets there that could be helpful, distraction wise,
Sure.
attack wise. And also Kazooie is just kind of like a fun character to hang out with. So hopefully I won't get too infuriated with this teammate and give them their own apocalypse. I don't know. I'm going Kazooie.
Apocalypse. Decoy, you're next up. Who do you choose for the second person on your apocalypse team?
Let's see. I think there's one that I want to go with, but I mean this is survival. So I think I'm gonna have to go with Peppy.
Oh, Peppy Hair.
That's a good
from
one.
Star Fox.
Yeah. I mean, he's a pilot. He may not be a bird that can fly, but if we can find an aircraft of some sort, he's going to be pretty handy. And he's old. He has wisdom, so
Sure.
he might be able to give some sort of insight to situations and, I don't know, his old battles or whatnot.
Okay. Monica,
Okay.
your second choice.
I for 100% am going Cortana, because with Pepe gone, I have to go with the other thinker, the other just brain source, and Cortana is really the only other one on this list. I feel like that can do much in that realm. So I have to I'm trying to stay head to head here with Decoy, and yeah, Cortana 100%.
All right. Cortana from Halo. I like the way you guys are thinking. Intelligence, laying the land. Decoy, next up, you got 6 choices left. It's
This
getting tougher.
may not be the best choice right now, but I really need a friend. I'm gonna go with Companion Cube.
Picking up the companion cube.
Okay. Well, I mean, you could carry it around and put it on like levels and stand on it if you're being attacked too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure if how heavy companion cube is going to be. If it's something that we're able to put on some straps and then just wear it as a backpack, or if I'm going to have to push it around and we'll have to find roads. And because I imagine pushing companion cube up a grassy hill is not going to be the easiest.
Fair enough.
But think about all the strength training you're going to get with companion cube.
Your core is going to be sick.
Yeah.
All right, Monica,
Okay.
you're up next.
So I'm next, and I think if this is the case, oh man, I'm gonna go ahead and, when we even thought of this segment, immediately I was thinking Toad. I'm gonna go Toad. For one, like, I find Toad very, very annoying, and which may sound like, why would you want him on your team? But I wouldn't really have a problem killing him and eating him, and he's not human, so you wouldn't, like, if you start running out of food, sometimes someone needs to go and they need to sacrifice, Well, Toad is just a mushroom, so
You're putting together your team on who you can eat the most?
yeah, just in case, and plus, in case, and like also, if anyone on my team is a vegetarian, I'm still following their restrictions. So I'm thinking about the other like stronger players on the team here, and myself. I like mushrooms; they're good.
You're the team leader.
I got a question for you with having Toad and being able to eat him. Do you think that like Toad is the type of character that you'd be able to just like shave a little bit off here and there, and then he'd be able to just like stay alive and keep walking with you instead of just having like one big meal?
Right, I would hope so. And he never stops smiling, so I don't think I'd feel bad about it. You know what I mean? Like, he's always looks happy, so like even when you slowly like taking bits of him off, I don't think he'd stop smiling, so I would be like, oh, this is fine. Like, I don't have to feel guilty.
He's just happy to be of service to you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Shave a little more off, guys. All right, Decoy, you're up next. The characters that we have left are Navi from Zelda, the dog from Duck Hunt, Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog, and Yoshi from Super Mario.
Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and say Yoshi.
Okay.
Mostly for the fact of food. Monica had a very good point. Yoshi pops out some eggs. I mean, they may or may not be other Yoshis.
If you get them early enough.
Yeah, it's just a little more meat. Otherwise, mushrooms.
Also, Yoshi could probably carry companion cube around for you.
Ooh.
You think
Teamwork.
so?
I don't know. I mean, if he can't, then I don't think you're going to be able to do much with companion cube. So I kind of hope so.
All right, Monica, you're up next.
Oh, man. Okay, my options are Tails, the dog from Duck Hunt. I'm going the dog from Duck Hunt.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know that I'm really gonna get anything out of this. He's a bloodhound, right? So like maybe
I'll say bloodhound.
He can track things and then laugh at me when horrible things are happening.
Just mock you.
Yeah, like, maybe because he can laugh at really bad situations, like whenever anything difficult happens, he will laugh and we'll be like, oh yeah, lighter things in life, like let's not worry that, we're starving and probably aren't going to make it. Like, so yeah, I'm going to go the dog with Duck Hunt. Yep.
Okay.
From Duck Hunt.
We have Navi and Tails left, Decoy. So your choice is important because you're not just choosing a teammate for you. You're saddling Monica with someone.
All right. I'm not terribly familiar with Navi.
Okay.
I know that she... Is it a she?
I would say it's a female.
Okay. I'll say she. I know that she's kind of like this guiding light and does targeting. And I have potato aim. So, like, having this big bright light over anything that I'm going to try to shoot would probably be pretty helpful. But then with Tails, like, he and we have a bit of a history. And, I mean, he's helpful. He can fly.
Sure.
He's furry. Probably someone to cuddle up with when it gets really cold, because I know companion cubes just going to be hanging out. If Tails would be able to like carry me, he's gonna be my homeboy. I think I'm gonna have to go with Tails.
All right.
Because if he could carry me, he could like drop me on whoever we're trying to attack, and then I wouldn't need Navi.
I like the team that you're putting together here. Everything's kind of working together. Monica, you're getting saddled with Navi. How do you feel about that one?
So I actually feel okay, because I feel like Tails is always causing trouble for himself and getting himself into precarious situations. So even though he can fly out, I feel like he might actually bring more trouble. The only qualms I have with Navi is that she's so bossy. You know, she's always like, listen, listen, and like telling you what to do and everything. And like, I don't know. Hopefully, I find a empty like jar, and I can just put her in it, and then like only like bring her out like when I want to listen. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But yeah, I'm okay with the guidance.
Well, you also have Cortana, and I feel like if Navi steps out of hand, Cortana can just be like, bitch, please, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, you're wrong, and this is why.
Yeah.
Well, let me look at these teams. Monica, you have Kazooie, Cortana, Toad, the dog, and Navi. Decoy, you're rocking Elizabeth, Pepe Hair, the Companion Cube, Yoshi, and Tails. We're going to put this up for a vote later on Twitter after the stream, so all of our viewers can go into what team they want to side with here and who they want to travel with in the gaming apocalypse. But for me personally, I'm going to have to go with like Decoy's team here. Like, she is got a murderer's row of side characters here. Yoshi you can ride on. He can pop out eggs. Tails can pick you up to ride. Pepe can like fly Tails if he wants to. The team she put together, Monica, your highlight is Toad being eaten. I don't think that's getting us through. That's not.
Well, she also has Kazooie. Kazooie's spunky.
Who can shoot multiple eggs out of her ass. That's awesome.
Are those edible eggs?
I don't know.
Okay, see?
It's a weapon. All right, whatever. I accept defeat. I think that Decoy, I appreciate, and I appreciate your team, but I'm not sure. Like, I feel like on the dodgeball court, we have and in a post-apocalyptic situation, we have a chance here. So, listeners, if you guys want to check out our Twitter, Backspace Nomads, let us know which team you would rather be on. Continue to break my heart. See if I care.
All right. Let's move into our final segment of the night, the time of game with Decoy. Monica, you want to take us away on this?
Yeah. So, we are going into our most common segment now, which is the time of game. The time of game is where we bring a guest on and have asked them to dig into a section of their life where a game was like running in the background or foreground, but either just running alongside other things going on. And so Decoy is here to share her time of game with us, and I will go ahead and give it to you, Decoy, if you want to let us know what your time of game is.
Sure. It took me a while to think of this one because, I mean, I guess I've always played games, but this stood out the most. Mm-hmm. In 2006, I moved out to California, and I started an apprenticeship at a tattoo shop. And the tattoo shop was mostly guys. There was one female there for probably 6 months when I started.
Okay.
And the owner of the shop had 2 arcade games, Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 3. And whenever business would be slow, I didn't have any training, I didn't have anything to clean. I just had like some downtime to myself. The owner of the shop would challenge me in either 2 or 3.
So that seems all right. For one, I have to point out here that if he already owns 2 Mortal Kombat arcade games, I'm assuming he's a fan.
Yeah.
And it almost seems like your apprenticeship, like you get brought in here and then it's like, oh, do you want to be challenged to a game? Like that just sounds like a sacrifice. You know? like, oh, do you want to play? And you're like, I would love to. I am the apprentice. I will do this. So did you win? No. She's hanging her head in shame. But I mean, it just sounds like if he's that into it that he would buy 2 arcade games, then he sounds like quite the challenger, you know?
Yeah. I was no match for him at all, for most of the guys at the shop.
Right.
I would try, and sometimes they would like let me think that I'm winning, so I'd be like, oh yeah, finally, maybe, and then they'd just be like, get out of here, go home.
Was it just like a casual game to have in the tattoo parlor, or was it like, do you think people were using it to establish like a hierarchy in this, like, I'm the best at Mortal Kombat, everyone listens to me in this shop?
I think it was a casual thing because the artist would be busy and there would sometimes be waits until an appointment would finish up, or you want to talk to an artist about your consultation, but they're going to be busy for maybe like 5 more minutes. So here's a free arcade game. Like, just waste a little bit of time, play that, just keep you occupied.
Sure.
But at the same time, like, I do think that it was kind of like I'm king of the mountain here.
Sure. So was Mortal Kombat the only games you guys played in the tattoo shop, or did it like kind of go into other games that were brought into it?
Well, he had the arcade machines until like 2008, and then he ended up selling them. And when he sold them, he brought in a projection screen and he brought in his 360. When he did that, I think it was maybe around July, Street Fighter 4 was the big game. I can't remember any other games standing out that they played on the projector, but Street Fighter 4, that was a big one. And because it was so new, and they got the joystick button, they got the, what is it called? The box. Help me.
The joypad?
Is it the joypad?
I think it's called a joypad, is it?
Oh, it's like you're playing on an arcade game, but you have
Like
this
with the big
box
stick
that,
and the buttons
Yeah.
all
Yep.
like big. I think it's a joypad.
yeah, they got that, and everything was new and shiny. So that was the new tournament game. Everybody was proving themselves on that.
And what was the dynamic? Like, you've been there for a while now. Were you actually one of the artists, or you weren't? Like, how had things progressed just with you learning, or from being an apprentice?
At this point, I had finished my apprenticeship, and my predecessor, he had left, and I was offered the piercing position in the shop.
Okay, awesome.
So I was head piercer at this point, and I had just started kind of teaching somebody under me.
Okay. And so you're no longer the scrub apprentice, and they have this new platform that they've introduced to the office. And are you beating them yet?
At this point, I was finally able to be like, oh, okay. So I got my apprentice. I'm going to challenge you. And I still got my ass kicked.
You're still getting your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at that point, I was just like, okay, I'm going to have to get a 360. I'm going to have to practice this on my own time because at the shop, I can't get any games in.
Right. So you were tired of losing. Okay. Like really tired of losing. Okay.
Like I'd have some good games in there. It would be close, but when you have Akuma and Ken and Ryu, and those are like the main characters that everybody plays, and they all have the same moves. I don't know. I think my problem was that I started with Chun-Li, and I was good with her. Like I figured out her moves, but I didn't want to just be another typical girl picking Chun-Li. So I wanted to like branch out and try the other ones, but I never had time to work on their moves.
Okay.
So describe like your like thought process when you're like buying the Xbox One for like your house. Like did you go home and like practice like for hours on end to like you really want to go back in and just like beat up on everyone in the place? Or
I went out and I got the 360 and I was looking around GameStop and I found Street Fighter 4, and I was thinking, okay, I'm going to be able to get some game time in. I'm going to be able to practice. But it's not the same when you're not playing other people who are doing the exact same thing over and over again.
yeah.
So after I was playing at home for a while, I started to get bored with it.
I see.
And I actually branched out, went back to GameStop, and I picked up BioShock.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm okay losing here.
Yeah. So you never really became the master that you had expected, but your experience at the tattoo shop basically made you into a gamer? Were you gaming a lot before that, or was this something that you...
I mean, I played video games, but it was nothing consistent. I had a PlayStation 2 for a little while, but in a breakup, my ex took it. So I was just kind of like, oh, all right, well, that sucks. I think that experience and getting BioShock and then sitting down and playing that helped turn me over into the gamer that I am today.
Right.
BioShock was my first storyline game, and as soon as I finished that, I was hyped when BioShock 2 came out. Not so thrilled with that story.
Like you started jumping in, and I know that feel like where I actually went out and bought 360 for Halo Reach, I think. And that's where I started, but that wasn't the very first time I went out and actually started buying consoles for specific games, but where I had these franchises, or I had these gaming interests that kept me involved. Where before it was just if it was around, I wasn't really pursuing it as heavily. When I was a kid, we had the consoles, so I'd play them at home. But as an adult, it wasn't until I started getting involved. And really, I would say almost God of War was what really got me pulled back in. Was that's where I was going out. I had to go buy the consoles for it and everything. And so it sounds like your access to the Xbox through the tattoo parlor is really what got you to be a more committed gamer. Honestly, it sounds like just to know the kind of gamer that you were,
Yeah.
So you never beat them?
I had a couple lucky games.
Okay.
But when we're doing the round robin or whatever and trying to, or I don't know, King of the Hill, however you want to call it, I would get maybe 1 or 2 people in, and then somebody would wipe me out. And it's like, all right, I'm gonna go over here. Like, I never made it to the top, but I was able to claw my way up a little bit, and I was okay with that.
Saw a little bit of the light.
Yeah. And from that experience, when we went to PAX South a couple years ago, walking around the convention center, they had this big Street Fighter display where they had machines lined up, and I got so excited from that memory. I remember talking to Crom, Camino, and Jam. I was like, we gotta get a tournament going here.
You like kicked into competitive mode.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if you would have been able to kick their ass though. Did you guys play?
Yeah, we did.
Did anything kick back in? Did like your did you have any innate no? Oh god.
The head's going down.
Girl, you know what? I don't think that Street Fighter is your game or Mortal Kombat, but you know what? I'm glad that you found your home with other genres.
No, it was good. I ended up playing against Camino a handful of games, and the like Jam and Crom, they were playing, and then Camino and we were playing, and the first round I kicked Camino's ass. The second round, he kicked my ass. And then the third, like the tiebreaker to figure out who was going to be the winner, we knocked each other out at the same time.
Yes! That's perfect. That's perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your time of game.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real quick, head piercer might be like the most gnarly job title ever, by the way.
Yeah, it's stressful, but thank you.
Yep.
I like baking more.
Yeah.
Sure. So you can find Decoy on Twitter at IAmThyDecoy and on twitch.tv/IAmThyDecoy. Thank you for coming on. That's it for episode 25, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye.